Hi, forgive the dark environment. I have a concussion, which I got whatever many days ago Wednesday was, and am wanted to do a video on how concussions can look different in people with autism. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a longer format, and forgive me if I kind of drift in and out. I'm still having some symptoms, the strongest of which is photosensitivity, which again is why it's super dark in here. So you may be wondering how concussion symptoms might differ in people with autism. And I think the strongest challenge is that it can be difficult to identify those symptoms in people on the spectrum because we already have a lot of them due to our autism. We already have photosensitivity, we already have sensitivities to lights and noise, we can have balance issues, we can have sleep disturbances. All those are ways that the healthcare system would normally identify a concussion. So it can make it harder for the doctor or whoever's just diagnosing us to recognize that we do have a concussion. It is helpful when, like me, you have bumps on your head and lacerations, cuts places. It makes it easier for it to be overt when there's outward signs. But I have myself noticed a lot of heightened emotional responses. Definitely sensory overload is worse. Light is definitely the strongest one. It feels extremely intense. I am wearing a actual eye mask most of the time, the last few days, and emotional regulation has become more difficult. I'm more irritable. I don't know if I'm more anxious or not, but I'm pretty well medicated. But I have had cognitive challenges around my processing speed is slow. Sometimes I just can't answer a question. I don't even know how to go about getting to information in my head, which is really frustrating. And a lot of the executive functioning challenges that I usually have are worse, like figuring out how to sequence making myself breakfast or daily tasks, which is probably good because otherwise I would be trying to do more than I should. So yeah, I never thought about the fact that concussions could look different in people with autism, and it could also be harder for your prescriber to diagnose them. Because another issue would be proprioception. I have a hard time telling what's going on inside my body. So describing invisible symptoms to the provider, like nausea, dizziness, foggy headedness, can be hard. The nausea was accompanied with vomiting, so that was pretty easy for me to identify. But the foggy headedness has been more challenging to isolate, as has the whatever that third thing was I said. Yeah. So if you have fallen or hit your head and you're going to the doctor to see if you have a concussion, be clear that you're on the spectrum and you may need help assessing for symptoms. The treatment that my prescriber has me on is migraine prophylaxis medication, NSAIDs, and something else. Anti-nausea pills. So yeah, there are things that can be done, but it definitely looks different. So hopefully this will help you or help a loved one if they have a head injury, to be able to more clearly communicate and to also understand. This was another really huge, to go back, thermoregulation apparently is an issue with concussions, which is also an issue with autism. 2 days ago, I went outside and it was like 1,000 degrees. I felt hotter than the surface of the sun, and it was like 40 out, to the point where I looked up, is thermoregulation an issue with concussions? And it is. But thermoregulation is also an issue with autism. So it's really interesting to see the overlaps, and hopefully when I can think more clearly, I will do a video, like, kind of comparing the two, and maybe even trying to understand the neurobiology of why it's like that. So thanks for listening. Have a good day.